We'll have to fix that when it dries. All right, so that's a good base for getting the hat started. It's got a little bit of form, got a little bit of stuff going on. I think I need maybe just a little bit of light at the very edge because I won't rest until it's there. There are things that are going to bug you, and so just address them. And you know what? Painting too is like there are going to be days, I don't know if you play an instrument or do anything else, but along those lines, but there are going to be days when you hit the canvas and you can do no wrong and it's just beautiful, and there are other days when you hit it and it's just a little harder than others. It just works that way. So don't give up. Okay, that's a great start. Now I'm going to start working on his little face. I'm going to move some of this color over just to make room. He had such a sweet face. I think what he was looking at were the awards. Either that or he just was tired of people taking his picture. Okay, so I wanted a little bit warmer tones for his face. A great base for this is to start out with some Cad Yellow Deep and some white. I'm finding a clean area for that. Might have gone a little overboard there. So I'm going to mix that with this, and this might be one of my shadow colors. And I'm not throwing the baby out with the bathwater, although I have been known. Okay, maybe I should have. That is so bad. Ew. Okay. I mean, this color would work somewhere on somebody's painting, but there is no way that that puppy is going to touch my canvas. Okay, it's out of here. Oh my God. And you know what? There are times when you can save it, but I know no matter what I do, it's going to be ugly. So it needs to go. See ya. Okay. I think I need to squirt some more white out here too. I contaminated it. Okay, how did that happen? Let's learn from this, because we're talking about risks, right? That happened because I thought, well, I'll just throw in a little of this nice mauve color, and they weren't friends. They were never gonna be friends. It had to go. All right, so now we start with where I was before. I was so rudely interrupted. Okay, that's better. That's a nice light, and all it is Cad Yellow Deep and white. So there's the light. That's going to be the lightest light on him. And his medium is going to be the same Cad Yellow Deep. I'm going to have to grab some more white with a little bit of, let's see if we can try some of this contaminated white. A little bit of Cad Red Light. Oh, that's nice. That's pretty. That's a nice mellow flesh tone. So his face is light and gradually gets darker as it turns. So I'm going to grab a little bit of this, add a little bit of more Cad Red Light. That's pretty. And ears are red, and men's ears and boys' ears are redder than females. They have more, their capillaries are closer to the skin, it's closer to the surface, and they just have red. Just check it out. And so I always exaggerate that a little bit when I'm painting because it's fun. Look at Sargent's paintings. Boy, he's got the reddest ears on everybody that I've ever seen. They're really cool. All right, so let's put in some light and get some of this stuff started. So we've got three tones here. We have a nice medium and a light. That's a good way to get started. And I will put in his little eyelashes too, with the dark that I've already made for his hat, with just a touch of red. Oh no, he doesn't want purple. Don't want the poor kid to look like he's got mascara on. Okay, that's better. All right, so he's got just this little stroke of eyelash hair. And let's see, under his nostril is a little bit red, so I'm just gonna take some straight red. Nostrils? Nostrils are warmer than you'd think too. Even though they're in shadow, there's a lot of red up there too. So don't just put black. Don't just put black marks there. It doesn't look right. A little red up the nose, and you'll be better. You know, things will be happy. So I'm gonna add a little red right there, and his lower lip is sticking out a little bit, and I think I covered that up when I was doing my thing, so I got to figure out where that went. There's this kind of just came out like this. There. So now you're just, you know, what a wonderful pose. So even just with these crude little markings, you get an idea of where this thing's going, I hope. Or you could be like the gal that watched me in a demonstration in one town, and she just stood by the canvas the whole time and said, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. And then finally she said, oh, oh, I get it. Well, it takes a little while before you get to the, oh, I get it stage. All right, so he's got, where does he have light? Right there on his little chin, top of his nose, right up here, above his eye, behind his eye. I'm looking for these little light shapes. So I'm using the eye as a map and as a guide. But what I'm looking at are what are the shapes that I see? All right, so I'm just carefully laying down his cheek, over exaggerating the light again, because we'll go back and you'll lose it, so you might as well. And I want to cover up this pencil line too, so I'm kind of scrubbing that as I go. So basically you lose some of the light, so it's better to overstate it. And I know I keep saying that, but it's important. His little silhouette kind of reminds me of his little round face of the little Alfred Hitchcock silhouettes you used to see. Okay, so that's his light. There's a little bit of light hitting on the back of his ear. Let's see. I'm just going to throw in, it's not quite that warm, but I'll cover it up. It'll be cooler. All right, let me add a little bit of light to this brush. I'm going for all the light areas first. Let's try let's see if that's a big enough contrast. Maybe, maybe not. We'll just put it down and try. There's some more of his nose. I need to actually get a tiny brush and add that green tone in here so that I can, it's these other interstitial spaces that define the face. So I got to clean this up here where his nose is. No comments about the green in the nose. There we go. That makes more sense. Things have to make sense. Whoops. Okay, so I have paint on my hand. I lean against his poor little face, and I gave him some extra color where he didn't really want it. So I'm just going to wipe this off and take my paper towel, maybe just wipe a little bit of that off, and that's the best I can do for now. Just one of those whoops. Things happen. Okay, so now let's get we need some more red in his little face. So I'm going to grab another clean brush. Got to keep these areas clean and separate. Let's see how this looks. That's nice. I'm blending that in. And I'll go back to the light and merge these two together. He needs an eyebrow. I'm just going to take a dirty brush, throw a little hair up here. And that, of course, was too much, so I'm just going to blend it. Just a little dark space. It's also a shadow under the hat. And then get my green brush, which was here somewhere, here we go. Fill in that little area. I get really going. There's tons of brushes going on here. Okay. That was a little darker than I wanted right here. I can see if I can tidy that up. It's amazing. I mean, these kids are tiny. They're really young. They get out there and they're amazing. Just amazing. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get this ear so that I don't run over the little ear area. Get that put in. Start with a dark, and I'm going to work my way toward the center. And it may seem backwards, but it works for me. It totally works for me. Okay. I'm giving him a little more red because I don't want this the shadow side of his little neck to match. I don't want it to match his hat. So it's got to be a little redder, but not obvious. Okay. And it's dark pretty much all the way up to here. Now that might be a little bit too warm, so I'm going to take a little green. And why did I grab green? Because it's the opposite on the color wheel, and I'm going to tone that down. I know some people that actually underpaint portraits in green because skin tones have so much red in them that it's a nice complement. And if I were to do a portrait and undertone it in anything, I'd do it in red just because I like it better. Actually, I've done it in black and white. That's an interesting way to go. Okay, so it's behind the ears, dark. It's really dark. Lots of shadow here. And I'm going to outline his little ear just so that I keep that clean. I know where that area is, and there's a dark area right here. These are just weird abstract shapes. So don't think of it so much as an ear as just what do you think the shape looks like to you? And when they're free form and flowing, it's kind of like clouds. You ever go out and look at clouds and go, wow, man, there's this, there's that. Do that with shapes that you see on faces. Because look at his little ear. I mean, it's definitely an interesting shape. And I don't know, ears are unique. So there's no other ears like yours out there. So they're just really interesting to look at. All right, that's good. And it's also dark right where this little scarf hits the, yeah, this great scarf too. That's going to be another show. All right, so this side of the ear is really dark. Nothing over there is that dark. And I want to make sure that I don't go there. So everything else I mix is going to have to be a little lighter, a little warmer. So I'll add a little red to this to warm it up. Might even use my dirty brush. We'll try that instead of mixing a new color. Just stick my brush right in here. That makes it lighter and warmer. Let's see if it's too much. Yep. I better wipe it off a little bit. That's better. Let's get this ear in place. Okay, so it's light right there. And it's really lighter there. So it's definitely a push and pull to see how warm and cool it's going to be, how light and dark it's going to be. And I will tie all of this in. Now this needs to be, yeah, his little ear is light. But I'm looking at this shape here. It looks kind of like a triangle, so I'm just going to go up here. I see a triangle shape there, all the way up to his hat. And then goes all the way down to his little chin, chinny chin chin. So I'm just looking at these shapes. What do these shapes do? A little bit lighter, so I'm going to switch to the light brush. I'm just scrubbing it in. I'm applying less pressure here so that there's not an obvious line. I mean, there's a line, but it's not that distinct. That needs to be done. This is lighter. I need to ease up on that. That's too harsh an edge, so I'll blend that together. And the edges do look harsh when you first put them down. They get better. Okay, that's a good start. I'm going to overstate the light in the center of his ear, get a totally clean brush. Why? Because everything's so muddy that I would make a huge mess. I just know that about myself. There are people that can do things and all the way through the process they're very tidy. I'm not that way. Either way, doesn't matter. I mean, you can be a good painter either way. It's just to know how you approach things and work with it. Okay, so this is light here. There are going to be some nuances in his ear that I'll have to put over the top of that, but I'm just going to add a lot of light right around the edge here. I'm picking up a little bit of dark that I didn't mean to. That's okay. Gonna wipe my brush so I don't pick up more. And rather than focus on the ear, I'm just going to keep moving and then go back and do this and look at the thing as a whole, but I want to get the little face covered. All right, so it's a little bit lighter. There's a little bit of a dusty, ooh, that had too much violet on it. A little bit of dark hair, right? And that might be overboard, but hopefully it'll be okay when I blend it. right, add a little more light, back to it. Where's the little chin? There's just so many gradations in a face. This is a good base. By the time you're through, there'll be lots of different planes on the face. You have the side, you know, where it's hitting the light here. You've got this area, and then the back. Okay, so now it's basically blocked in. So now what we do is tidy it up a little bit. What needs to happen? Well, his little, this needs a little variation in the dark, so I'll break that up a little bit. What do I have here that I can use to break it up with? I'll grab a little bit of straight red. And what do I have all over my brush that's going to be picked up in the wrong place? I got to wipe that off. All right, let's see. Yeah, that wasn't enough. Let me grab a little bit of this color that I never thought I would use anywhere, that I was calling ugly, and put it right in the middle of the... Okay, that's good. See, I should have never been mean to that color. So now I'm softening this. So there's less of a nasty little transition there. Yeah, that's better. And this needs to be a little, oops. Ooh, didn't need to be that. Need to get a clean brush. And I'm looking for, there we go. Nice scruffy brush. We're going to put some rose in his cheeks. There we go. Now, does this show up in the photograph? No. I don't care. He needs rosy cheeks, I've decided. So instead of the shadow where it's cold and not a lot of color, people would tend to think to put grays. I like to put warmth in the shadows. It's like giving the painting a hug, you know? Instead of making it cool and sad, I'm making it warm and happy. All right, so he's got rosy cheeks. Besides, he's out there in the heat. He's been working hard. He's got to have a little color. All right, so then this needs a little darker hair. And what I'm doing is standing back and looking at it, see, okay, yeah, it's starting to take shape. That's cool. Let's see, what are we going to do? It needs to be darker and warmer right around here. And I'm not adding any more paint. Well, I'm adding what's on the brush, but I'm applying just a little light pressure. So I'm creating yet another transition color here. Another transition value, really. Slightly blend that very gently. Can be gentle if I have to here. Okay. And then we want to clean up his ear a little bit. Yeah, let's start. Oh, this is going to be fun. This is going to be fun. Okay, so let's clean up his little ear. He's got little marks in here, little extra lines. That was too much of a, whoops, that was a little extra red there, even for a guy. Well, you know what, you can just let it dry and paint over anything that doesn't work. That's what's just so cool. It's very forgiving. And then, you know, I've also had comments from kids, well, what else do you need to do? Or what's wrong with it? And it may be that nothing's wrong, it's just that in the stage of development, it's just not there yet. Okay, I don't quite have the shape right on this, so I'm going to tidy that up. It juts out a little more this way. And I over blended his little ear, so unfortunately all the light stuff that I put in went away. And that sometimes that just happens on a first statement. That's okay. Let's clean that up a little. All right. That's definitely starting to take shape. It's definitely starting to look like something. I like that. Okay, that's a good start. Now I can further refine it just a little bit more, maybe a little more red under his ear. Now this would be more of a dark area. Yeah, that was just a little overboard. It's a little shadow from his ear. And I'm doing the same thing over again. So I'm add a little bit more violet to that. There we go. And I'm just going to tap in a little more color there to help give this form. And that's the other thing. You know, if you've got disconnected darks, things aren't going to make sense. So now what I'm going to do at the last part of this show is take a look at where are the darks and the lights. Just really a basic and tidy, a basic thing. Is it dark here? Is it light here? And then just tie these all together. Okay, it's dark there. There's a little, you can see where he's turned his little neck. It's getting a little muddy. I can hear in my head, saying, stop, stop. So I got to get a clean brush and clean that up. There. So you can see that, it takes quite a while just to do a small section of a face. So there's no way that I was going to try and do this and do it justice in a 1-hour show. And because it's filmed live to tape, you get an idea of course I wasn't, when you're not talking to somebody, you can just really plow through something. But you know what? If I'm in a contemplative mood in the studio, it would take about this long to do this. So this is what you can expect when you do it. That's a happy start. And I think I'm just going to throw in some more of the background color just to finish off the show. That way, when this thing's dry, it'll be consistent. I'm going to come all the way over here and get rid of this line. It's the way the canvas was stretched. And that's how that worked. It's also good when you're working on something that's this detailed and this involved to go ahead and do it, maybe spend an hour or two just on one segment like this, and then let it rest. And then the next time you come back, just work on a scarf, or just work on one area. That way you don't overdo it and you don't get tired. So it's just a lot of fun. Well, thanks for watching Give Your Wall Some Soul. I'm Shannon Grissom.